Welcome to Ivy League Road, where you'll get tips and advice on how to strategically position your middle and high school student for admissions to the college of their dreams. Formerly the How to Homeschool podcast, we still have the same great content. We're simply expanding on how to position your middle and high school student using a combination of homeschooling and or truly meaningful outside activities, how to put that strategic plan together, why it's important, and how to execute this plan for your child's success. Are you ready to dive in? Let's go. This is Judy Sarden, and I am here with Adrien and Charlene Niles. They own a business up in the New York area, and they can tell us more about it. And it's named College Nannies, Sitters, and Tutors. And I know that right now is a fantastic time to be learning about how you can hire someone to help with your kids, whether you're working still from home, having someone come in and be a mother's helper, or actually, do the homeschooling with your kids, take them out, get them out of the house, get them to the park, get them out. Right now, we need these services more than any other time, and also through the summer and even through the school year. So I'm going to let them tell us about their business and what they do and where they're located.
Okay, so I'm Charlene Niles, as Judy indicated, and I'm the managing director with our Manhattan and Brooklyn offices. We basically hire, train, and place nannies, sitters, and tutors throughout New York City. My job is, as the managing director, really is to build relationships with both our sitter team, our staff, as well as our customers, and to invest the time in developing our team so that they are well equipped to provide great services for our families. We're big on customer service and customer satisfaction. So I spend a lot of time just grooming my caregivers, my entire team to work with families in the home.
Awesome.
Adrien?
Yeah, so I serve as the executive director of College Nannies, Sitters, and Tutors, Brooklyn Heights and Manhattan West. And my role, take care of finances, marketing, as well as all the things that she doesn't want to do.
And he does it so well.
I love it.
And by the way, that's just about everything except for grooming my caregivers and my admin team. So Adrien's the man.
Awesome. So tell me, guys, what do you typically see? So let's kind of talk about, because one of the things that, I help clients to develop home study programs for their kids. A lot of people right now are homeschooling, and when they hear the word homeschooling right now, most of the country probably wants to run like their hair is on fire. The kids have been home. People have been forced into this, managing their kids' education. How can hiring help a parent work from home? And even if they're not working from home, how can hiring help ease the, I don't want to call it a burden, but really it is, if you're not accustomed to homeschooling, you haven't done any research, you haven't done anything. And then all of a sudden you've got your kids at home all day. How can hiring help lower that level of stress and anxiety?
Okay, well, first of all, I definitely understand what you're referring to. We speak to families all the time who are pulling their hair out. They are ready for the kids to do something else because they're responsible for the homeschooling. They're still working from home, and they're taking care of, I guess, multiple children and the rest of the family, whoever that entails, right? So if it's mom, she still has dad to take care of because he's home too. So what I would say, we love that type of situation because that's what we're built for. We hire our team to go into homes and basically work along with families as partners, to help them do whatever is needed, right? Specifically, we work with the children. So you call us in, we come, we're there to provide tutoring, we're there to, add structure to the day, accountability for the homework. What are we working? What should we be working on? What's the schedule we should be following? Who are the teachers or whatever needs to be done with the children? We are there to help partner with the family and get those things done. We also will help mom with side projects, but our main focus when we're in the home is to be with the children, right? And to engage them and motivate them to accomplish the task that we have set out for the day. I don't know if that addresses. Does that address?
No, that's actually a really good point. I'm glad you mentioned that because, the childcare aspect, it's pretty much been taken away from everybody right now, having that help with childcare. And during normal times, I think most of us have some kind of help with childcare. Now we have none. And so your nannies can help with the schoolwork. They can help to get them motivated. They can help get them out of the house and get them to activities. What about light meal prep for the children?
Oh, absolutely. So we do the regular, anything that's associated with the children, we are willing to do. So it might be, well, of course, engaging in activities. It's going to be the light meal prep, of course, and maybe some laundry that may be needed to be done for the children, of course. I don't know, anything else, Adrien? But yeah, we're just there. Our focus, number one focus would be to provide care and do whatever is necessary to make sure that the child has a great day. Yes.
So during this time, it's really critical to have that set of assistance, right? Because most parents, one, either won't train as teachers or did the subject matter so long ago that the methods that are being used now don't match the way the parents learned it so long ago. And it causes a lot of conflict, right? Within the family, with the children. And then coupled with the fact that parents still have to work, there's this dynamic where, people are fighting for screen time and network capacity, right? Who has the best Wi-Fi signal?
Yes.
So it's all of that. It has to be managed throughout the day, and multiplied if there if there's more than one child in the home.
So do your nannies travel? Say we have a family who travels, they have a second home or they go on vacation. Do you have nannies that will also travel with the family to continue that care? As I was telling Adrien and Charlene, whenever I go on vacation, it is not a vacation because the children are still with me. So I'm crossing my fingers that summer camps will be still going this summer. But do you guys have nannies that will travel with the family to continue that care so that the parents can have a vacation too?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have nannies who will happily do that, accompany the family to whatever destination, to provide that escape valve for the parents to be able to go off and, have some sense of enjoyment without worrying about the kids' activities and, are we there yet? Where are we going now? Sort of thing.
And I'll tell you, for our nannies, they want that to happen too. They want moms and dads to be preoccupied with enjoying themselves.
Okay,
right? Because it also helps that they're bonding with the children. when mom and dad are doing their thing and they are the focus of attention for those children. So trust me, they're excited to know mom and dad is having a life.
That's great. Now, let me ask, so when most people think about nannies, or even having an in-home tutor, they're often thinking of little kids, of babies. Tell me kind of how a nanny could fit in with a family that has a middle schooler or even a high schooler who, think these are kids who think they're probably beyond the age of needing someone to help them out. We'll call them help them out. But tell me how that dynamic works for the older child.
Yeah, so for an older child, it's less hands-on care, changing diapers, but it's more relationship-based. It's helping with the activities, helping with homework or with certain aspects of schoolwork. Really importantly, being a role model. Someone that these children can look up to, being a sounding board. Perhaps there are things that the children are more comfortable talking to the nanny about than with their parents for whatever reason. So it's also a good practice to have a nanny for older children as well.
Yeah, and especially middle schoolers, that's usually that tricky time where they do need a buddy, a friend, right? And it's helpful to have someone that mom and dad could trust, and the children could feel comfortable being with. So we make great companions, friends.
I like that, companions.
And study buddies and, all of that great stuff for older children.
Now, let me ask you this. Say you have a family that has multiple kids and the age range is pretty wide. Say you've got, I have a friend now who has a high schooler. I think the oldest is 11th grade, and then the middle child is in 3rd or 4th, and then they have an infant. Yeah, it's pretty spread out. So for a family like that, would you recommend, if they needed in-home help, would you recommend them getting 2 nannies? Because infants can be really, really, time consuming, whereas the older kids, as you said, you don't have to be as hands-on. Would you place 1 nanny for those 3 kids, or have you seen families do 2 when they're so spread out like that?
Adrien loves this question. I know he does.
So ideally it would be 2 nannies, one who can focus on the infant and the time that's required to nurture that child. At his or her developmental level, and then someone else who can deal with the middle schooler and the high schooler at their level. I don't think this would be an ideal situation to just have one person, because one or more of the children would be shortchanged if it would be done that way.
And I thought it was a cool question for him, because often we fall into those situations, right? And sometimes, listen, Judy, they can be a family that have 5 children, and they may still expect that one caregiver to do all. And I can tell you, just as mom's pulling out her hair, nanny or sitter would be doing the same thing. And so Adrien usually rides in on the chariot. He's like, no, he's got to separate, And so I thought it was even cool that when you introduced the question, that you figured that out yourself, that, that you need more than one, because most people forget that.
Let me tell you what, if I had an infant right now, if I was actually able to get out of bed from the shock and the horror of having an infant, I mean, my kids are in middle school, both of them. There's no, I would have to have help with that infant.
Yeah.
Just myself, I'm in middle school. My head's in middle school right now. And just to think of having to switch gears all day long between infant, and then middle school would be difficult for me. So I can't imagine how it would be also for a nanny. So your nannies, so we're talking about particularly homeschool help. What kind of educational background, if someone wanted to place a nanny, say that they wanted to have an in-home tutor to implement a home education program for their children, do you have nannies that have the kinds of qualifications that would, help facilitate an in-home learning environment?
One of the great things about our service is that we customize to the family's needs and their desires. And we typically will hire to suit. So we have some basic requirements that we have for all people coming in the door, but we will make the adjustment based on what the family will need. And I'll, of course, pass the baton to Adrien on this as well. But we typically, a large amount of our team are college students, but we don't limit our team to college students. Some have graduated, some are teachers, or professionals in other. They're just in other professions. Like, for instance, we even have a lawyer in our team, believe it or not. So it's a wide gamut. It depends on the needs of the family. Sure. That's what I would really revert back to. Adrien, anything different to that?
Yeah, funny. You mentioned the lawyer. I was thinking about her. Yeah, she obtained a law degree in Romania before she came here. And she would be a phenomenal candidate to be a nanny for one of these families. So to answer your question, we will go out and if we don't already have the right candidate on our staff, we will go out and do a search and do the work in order to find that right candidate who will be the right fit for that family.
So explain to me, so you guys are nannies, sitters, and tutors. So can you explain to me what are the expectations as far as time with the family for a nanny versus a sitter versus a tutor? So what would you hire each of those different people for, and kind of what is the typical time that they spend with the family?
Great question.
So that's a wonderful question. In fact, one of the first iterations of our company was college nannies and tutors, and we subsequently added college sitters. So our nannies.
Our very first iteration was just nannies.
True, college summer nannies.
So we can add on. We can build from there. First the nannies. Yeah. What are they?
Yeah. So when I train the staff, I like to explain it this way. Families who use nannies are those families who have well-defined long-term needs. So the family, if they have maybe an infant child, they need full-time care from 8 to 6. We generally do live-out service, right? So let's say 8 to 6 on a daily basis. Sitter service is used by those families who have more ad hoc needs, occasional use. So it may be for the parents who just need to get out every other Saturday night so they could enjoy a couple of glasses of wine, a bottle maybe, and a nice dinner, right? Well, when the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted, right? And then for tutoring, we provide academic support with a focus on older students, middle schoolers, and high schoolers. And for high schoolers, we do test prep support as well with ACT and SATs.
Okay, awesome. So, and you guys are located in the Manhattan and Brooklyn area?
Yes, we are. So we're part of a franchise, and the franchise has, I think, almost 200 locations across the country. Okay.
I'm just curious if you guys have ever had anyone hire a nanny to homeschool their children or to help facilitate a homeschool program?
Yes, we have. I can think of one in particular. She actually was moving from New York to Florida and hired one of our sitters to travel with her to Florida. So she actually moved her down to Florida with her to support her. She was the CEO of an organization and, of course, very busy. So she hired our nanny to go with her to do exactly what we're talking about.
A family who had 2 children that we've had multiple examples, but this one comes fresh to mind, who had 2 children who were being homeschooled, and the parents weren't available to sit by the children's side. So yes, they hired a tutor who was in college at the time. She now is a teacher herself. So she was there daily to add the structure and the accountability for them, for the children as they were going through their homeschooling. Sometimes what we've seen, we've had so many candidates. We used to have a learning center open in Pennsylvania too. And I remember sometimes the kids would be, what parents used to complain about their children being at home and, flipping the screen and doing something totally different.
Yes.
And then
you're familiar with
they
that?
didn't understand why the homework wasn't done.
We've been having that issue actually since the COVID thing, because we can't get out of the house. Usually we're out of the house every day, and they're not allowed on electronics during the week, and it's never been an issue. But in the last 2 weeks, they're just...
Their toggle fingers are getting really
yes. So I'll be glad if we can get out again.
We've seen that in our travels too, and way before COVID. So it's really nothing new, but it's rearing its ugly head again. So we've been, partnering with parents for a while to coach through and be a companion for the care of the children while they're in homeschool.
Yeah, and most parents, once they start their service, they'll do it for an extended period. I think the one example Charlene was referring to, I think that particular tutor stayed with that family for 3 years. To help the children through the process.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to know, because one of the things that I know that so many people, especially, I think two things. First off, I hear people talk about two different things. Either their kids are in, elite private schools who feel like they have to justify, the tuition for the rest of the school year. So their kids, even little ones, are in front of the screen 6-7 hours a day, just as if they would be at home, which I think is horrible. But for those people who are not, who are basically being given the work to have it accomplished, they're realizing it doesn't take 6-7 hours to get all the work done.
Exactly.
And so, if my kid can be done in 3 hours, that would be awesome. But, a lot of people don't want to do it themselves. They don't have the time or, frankly, the inclination, and that's okay. To be the homeschooling hover over parent, but they like the idea of their kid being able to complete their work before lunch, being able to have time to relax, rest, follow a passion, have some downtime before they start, soccer practice or whatever it is they're doing, music lessons, whatever that they're doing in the afternoon. And so a lot of families, I think, are beginning to see that homeschooling is great and it could actually really benefit the children, but they don't know how to make it happen either because they work or they don't want to do it. And so...
their children don't want them to do it.
Well, my kids didn't want to go bike riding yesterday, but I made them go because they need to get out of this house. But it's so funny. I find myself going back to my mother, and around this time, I'm like, okay, you got 2 hours, go outside. Oh, what are we going to do? Like, I don't care what get outside. We've got a big yard. My husband and I bought this house, so we have this huge yard. And you're going to get out there. You got to figure it out for 2 hours. Don't come back in for 2 hours. And we told them, when we were growing up, we'd have to leave in the morning. We weren't allowed to come back in until the evening.
Yeah. So they can't fathom that notion right now. They just can't.
I know. But, so I get it. If, the idea sounds great, but you just can't even wrap your head around actually making it happen. So if you could just talk to that parent and just kind of let them feel at ease that you can accomplish this and you don't have to do it. You have a friend who can help you. So I know we kind of covered it, but if you could just kind of give some reassurance, even some more of the things that you've seen, just to let parents know that this is totally doable.
Sure. Adrien, you.
Oh, okay. Well, absolutely. This is something that we know, first of all, it's a really difficult time, right? You mentioned homeschooling, and we know this is a really difficult time for parents right now. And I think when we were chatting a couple of weeks ago, you put it the best way I've ever heard it. This period is not about homeschooling. It's about pandemic schooling, right? So that's the first thing we have to wrap our heads around. This notion of suddenly being thrust into this new environment at a time when parents at home, students, as well as teachers and administrators have tried to figure this out on the fly. So it's been really difficult and challenging for everyone involved, particularly for parents, because they're still trying to manage their careers and now manage being teachers, something that they were pretty much ill-equipped to do, right? Not prepared to do at all. But we do know that we're all going to get through this together. There are services such like ours where we would be happy to come in and provide the assistance that you would need. And it does not necessarily have to be a long-term nanny. Maybe it's just 3 or 4 hours a day. During the most important section of the day, maybe you have conference calls and other things that need to happen where we can take the burden off. So, we can help manage the children and their activities for that period of time while mom and dad could address their most important activities of the day. Even with shepherding the kids outside, okay, let's go out to the yard. Let's just have some fun. Let's just let loose of some of this pent up energy, right? Because what you mentioned before, there are some schools that are good at managing the day as it were a regular school day.
Yes.
But the kids are being overloaded in screen time. And the difference now is 7 to 8 hours, on Zoom is really difficult. Whereas in school, there's break time, there's time when the teacher turns her back to go to the board, right? You can look at your friend and do something mischievous.
Yes.
None of that, it's not happening as much as it used to be before. So that those human interactions are far and few between, right? The in-person pieces are difficult. So we see that. And then we also see the opposite end of the spectrum where kids are told, hey, here's your packet for the week. You manage it however you want to.
Yes.
And I think we need to find a happy medium between those two extremes, right? So I think it's definitely beneficial to look at managing the day a little bit differently, to incorporate, of course, the time that is needed for school, but also incorporating some time just to get outside and let them be kids and use some of that pent-up energy.
And that's something that you can get help with. And that's kind of, we often forget that we need that help. People, a lot of families would be, even after their kids are out of school, they still have aftercare. They're paying for aftercare. They would be paying for, when I was working, we had to pay for before care and aftercare because of my husband's and my schedules. And that was just a fact of life. So now, folks, you can use that money to get that nanny for a couple hours a day. And I like that because first off, homeschooling doesn't take that long. It doesn't take more than 3 or 4 hours a day for except the oldest child who's independent anyway. It just doesn't take more than that.
Yeah.
So even if you just need to hire someone to get that done and be done with it, that's great. And I think that, even beyond this, because I don't know if you guys have seen some of the recommendations for returning to school. A lot of people aren't excited about it. I wouldn't be if I was thinking about sending my kid to school. No more field trips, no more assemblies. Kids have to arrange the desks 6 feet apart. I don't know how they're going to do that. Where my kids are, they're 32 kids in the class. They don't have enough space to do that. I don't know how they're going to do that. Staggered schedules. So people are still going to need childcare. And it's just, no lunches in the lunchroom anymore. So you basically have to stay confined to your classroom all day. A lot of people don't want their kids going back to that. And so a lot of people are looking to start planning now for, at a minimum, at least homeschooling for the 2020-2021 year.
Yes.
While this stuff blows over. And so would you guys be equipped to be able to provide like that 1 year long help if people had a plan? I help people put together plans. And so to get that plan together, if parents have that plan together already, they could come to you guys, say, hey, I've got a plan. Help me find someone to help me implement this.
That's an ideal situation for us, I believe, because what I know most caregivers love is having that plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing exactly what that structure is going to be for the day, schedule, and implementing that. It's what we love doing. It's what we do. And in general, our caregivers come in and they're communicating with the families to find out what is it that you would like us to do, first of all. They're equipped to be flexible and to respond to the needs of the children, and also just to build as they go, as they see, the needs develop. But they always like to know that there's some type of structure coming in, and they adapt as they go, as is needed, right? And I think, as we were talking a little bit, just to go back a little bit, touch on what Adrien was talking about, I believe that we have an ideal solution for families in feeling comfortable with our company because of the relationship management piece. So if the family has a caregiver or tutor alongside them, and for whatever reason they feel that the caregiver or tutor isn't meeting their standards, then they have us as partners, right? So we can make a switch if necessary. We can provide guidance, counseling, coaching, and further training if necessary to ensure that they have the right people at their sides. And in some cases, families might be a little timid to even speak to the caregiver. And so they have that number to call. They're not just going, okay, well, I have to suffer with this situation. We're a phone call away, where we can help fix things if there's something to be fixed. But also, along with the relationship management, we have the team. We have the same caregivers and or tutors. They are there to help invest in the relationships with the children, to grow with them for whatever time necessary. And I think that should give any family great comfort that they have trusted caregivers who've been screened thoroughly, who we know. We know them, I won't say intimately, but we're pretty close. We're always doing things to keep them also engaged and to get to know them personally as well as professionally. So you're not alone out there with this, what begins as a stranger, because you didn't know them when they came into your home, now becomes the family friend, the family partner. And most times what we see is that after a while, parents don't want to let the caregivers go. Now they don't want anyone else, right? You know what? We'll wait until she comes back. Even when we work with this from a sitter's perspective, which is a general on-call situation. I need someone, like even said, for date night, or we partner with corporations as well to provide backup care sitters, meaning, the child can't go to daycare today. What do I do?
I remember those days.
So we are that phone call away. You know what? My child is sick, but yes, I have to go into work. She can't go to daycare for 3 days. Yeah, we have a sitter for you.
Oh gosh, hand, foot, mouth. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Absolutely. And when the nanny can't make it, the nanny is sick, right? We have that replacement for you. So there's still some continuity there. And I think that brings comfort. But my point was going to be that, so you get a sitter that's there for a very short term. And even then, families are like, wow, I liked her. How do I get to have her all the time? That's a little rut for us, because then everyone wants the same nanny or the same sitter who might be called the next 3 days or the next 2 days somewhere else. But that's what we provide. We make our families comfortable. We consider ourselves, our tagline is build stronger families. Mm-hmm. So we inject ourselves as part of the family. Every person that's on the team, starting with Adrien, myself, the admin team, the ones that answer the phones, that book the placement, all the way through to our sitters that are in the field, or nannies and tutors, mm-hmm. Because we want that the family environment starts inside and it spreads. So we just see ourselves as families. A big family. We love the people that we serve. And so you just cannot go wrong with college nannies, sitters, and tutors.
I love it. I love it. And I don't want to keep you guys. That's an excellent point to end on. Do you guys have any last, Adrien, do you have any last parting shots, or Charlene? And then if you can just let people know how they can get in touch with you, and you'll send me your link. So I'll have them in the show notes as well. But just let people who are just hearing the audio know how to reach you guys, and any parting shots.
So I will say this. I am going to definitely leave Adrien to do the parting, because you see, I'm getting excited now. Right when we're supposed to end is when I want to do all the talking. And so it can keep going.
That's okay.
The one thing I wouldn't mind adding is that we're actually looking at pivoting to a virtual program. So we're going to try to provide both in-home as well as virtual, especially since we're still in recovery mode. We're trying to, we haven't gotten to the point where we're gotten past staying at home in New York. So just for parents who may be struggling even now, getting through the pandemic schooling period, we're here and we're designing a virtual program so that we can assist with the homeschooling, the pandemic schooling, as well as enrichment activities for children. Now, our focus here is really children 5 years and older, because we haven't wrapped our heads around how to cuddle the baby.
Virtually.
Not yet, but we're working on it. There's an app for it coming soon. But with that, I am going to pass on to Adrien. And I thank you, Judy, seriously, for even inviting us. So, it's exciting. It was exciting to be here, but I also tell you, it was a little scary. I'm my pandemic face, my pandemic here, and I'm going, no, I can't do this. My heart was like this. I'm going to be on camera, but you made it really easy, and I thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Well, you guys provide a service that people need. And so people may not have thought about it yet. And, looking at going into the summer, they may not have thought about it yet, but it's definitely, you guys provide a service that people need to know about. Adrien?
Yeah, Judy. So to piggyback on what Charlene said, absolutely. Thank you for having us on. And for those families who'd like to reach us, we can be reached by phone at 212-951-0460. When they dial in, they should touch option 7. So that's 212-951-0460 extension 7. And then online, we are at collegesitters.com.
All right. And we will have this information in the show notes. And thank you guys for coming on. Because I really wanted to share this with people to kind of get their eyes open, because I think that we're going to be here for a while. And even after things go back to normal, I think as far as childcare is concerned, this is still going to be kind of up in the air. And you guys are the perfect solution for people with childcare issues. So thank you so much. And you guys have a great day. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to hear more, make sure you subscribe. And also you can reach me at www.judysarden.com/Ivy League Road. If you'd like to discuss how we can help you strategically plan for your middle and high school student, contact us at sardenquestions@gmail.com.